Hi, everybody. This is Rhoda from Cigar City Tarot coming back to you on day 20 of Ethony's 31 Days of Tarot Challenge. So yesterday we talked a little bit about what tarot cards did I look out for the most when I got a new deck and why. And so I believe that I talked a little bit about what I do when I get a new deck. Before I shuffle it up and feel it and interview it, I go through and I look at each and every card, kind of giving, looking at the imagery for a couple of seconds. I don't dwell on any one. And then as I'm flipping through, I put down a pile of cards that I like. And then I also put down a pile of cards that I don't like. The pile of cards that I like, I end up narrowing it down to one card because, as I mentioned a couple of times, I like to put an image of the card. I'll scan it and make it smaller, put it on a domino tile, and then attach it as the deck charm so that I remember when I go to look for a deck, what deck it is, so I don't have to open it up. Makes it a lot easier on me to find a deck. Well, the same is true with the other cards. And so today's challenge is, if you don't like a specific card in a deck, does it ruin the deck for you, and how? So much like the deck, looking for cards in a deck that I like, sometimes I don't like the same ones. I found, though, as I mentioned in yesterday's, that as I've gone through, it seems that the moon and the star are the ones that I most often like it'll be one of the top one or two in my flip through of the cards and when I narrow it down. Doesn't mean that I don't like a pip card or a court card. Pardon me. It just seems that those two cards stick out. And again, I always do temperance because I'm a Sagittarian, and temperance is representative of that astrological sign. Much like with the cards I don't like, it doesn't turn me off or ruin a deck for me. And throughout this series of days, I've mentioned the Dark Mansion Tarot more than I can imagine, because it is absolutely one of my favorite decks. I worked with it the most in March, and there are two cards. You can see two cards from that deck that I'm going to turn over in a minute that I absolutely don't like. And they're for various reasons, and I'll talk about those. And then same with the Northern Animal Tarot, as well as the Tarot of the Illuminati. And then I pulled one from, I forgot the deck. Oh yes, my Pinup Girl Tarot. Haven't talked about that one yet, much yet. So anyway, let's get right into it. And so when I go look for a new deck, usually it's based on a walkthrough from a fellow YouTuber or reader. They've either gone through the deck and given their first impressions, or they've interviewed the actual author, and the author talks. Like, I probably would have never picked up the Tarot of the Illuminati if I hadn't seen on the Pomegranate Grove the interview with the illustrator author. I went out and got it immediately. Unfortunately, I didn't get the Gilded Edges one, but I did get the deck. And I'm telling you, this deck is unbelievable for me. It was one that I reviewed on day 18 for which gives me the most insight based on its imagery and symbolism. Even though it really is representative, pretty much almost to the drawings, to the Rider-Waite-Smith original Pamela Coleman, deck. It just has so much more, so much richer. But there are things in there that, had I not seen the walkthrough, I would have never bought the deck, because there are some cards in there that are just really, they've grown on me, but they're just not that my favorite. So it's not like I go through a deck and say, ew, I don't like the Three of Swords. Ew, I don't like the Nine of Swords, or any of or the Tower, or any of the nasties or the bad cards that we think of. Because I know that they're just a couple cards in the deck, and it may be I don't like the moon in a deck, right? So it's not that I'm looking for a specific card I like or a specific card that I don't like. It's the feel of the deck, how it likes to work with me, and whatnot. So with that said, let's take a look at some of the ones that I don't like in some of the decks that I've reviewed. So this is again, the Northern Animal Tarot. Right. And I bought that one based on a walkthrough and a discussion with the author that Pomegranate Grove did. And this author creator has another Northern Animal Tarot deck. And it's on my wish list. but I just can't justify what she's done is recolored it. The back is different a little bit. And it's beautiful. The colors are more rich and vibrant, but not right now. Okay, let's start with this one. This is the 8 of Wands. And you can't see it, it's in white, but it's the 8 of Wands. And to me, and this doesn't symbolize what the 8 of Wands typically does. It's movement, could be air travel, plane travel. This is in an upright position, and I don't like this card because it looks like he's being stabbed and persecuted. That's what I get, and it's upright. This is supposed to be a good card. You know, things are moving quickly, whether you want them to or not. Of course, it could represent you're going on an airplane. If I got this upright and I in this deck, and it was talking about, you know, should I fly out to Chicago for, you know, to watch the Cubs game? I'd say no, because it's likely to me is like, that plane's going to crash. I mean, it's crazy. That's the feeling I get. And I know that that's over exaggerating it and probably a little melodramatic, but this card, you know, even in the reversed position, reversed, it's almost better. It's like he's backing away from, you know, being in a situation. But honestly, if you're, you know, old like me or older like me, or you enjoy the Raiders of the Lost Ark series, the original one where that guy, Harrison Ford, finally got the head of that that little statue he wanted. The guy that he was with stole it, and he goes running away with it. And Harrison Ford has to get out of there because he realizes something is happening. And as he is going through the gauntlet of crazy stuff that's trying to kill him, he sees the guy with the thing, with that statue. And he wasn't careful, and I don't know if a wall came through him with spikes, but that's what this reminds me of. And that just, even though there's no blood in this, that poor fox is just not having a good day. So I love the deck. I hate that card. I haven't read enough with the deck to have it come up. The other one that, and that's a visceral reaction to this particular card. The other one I don't like necessarily in this deck is the 5 of Pentacles, or the 5 of Coins. The upper half of it, if you take a look at the upper half of it, reminds me of, you know, I want to sing Starry, Starry Night, right? And it reminds me of, you know, everything that's fun about the winter and everything. But then I look at the 2 mice, and it just is, it makes me want to cry, even though I hate rats and mice, and they're the scourge of the earth. I don't care for rodents at all. It just makes me sad, sadder than the Rider Waite, you know, Pamela's card for the 5 of Pentacles just reminds me of 2 beggars that just won't get off the, you know, they won't change their situation because they've fallen into a trap of begging as lucrative. I don't like that card for that reason. This one is incredibly sad to me. It's as though they have no choice. I know it's weird. I know. Don't give me any hate mail comments, but it's just a feeling I have. So I don't like this, not because it's just weird. It's just extremely sad. And I look at it, and, you know, you look to the stars to make a wish and stuff. And these guys are not doing that. All right. Dark Mansion Tarot, my favorite tarot. Yes, Bella, my dog, is saying hi. I do not like the High Priestess. Now, High Priestess is one of the cards I do look for. You know, sometimes it comes up a lot for me and my friends I read with, the ones that are tarot readers, as we practice with each other and whatnot. But this particular High Priestess, she looks scary. She's so harsh. She doesn't even remind me of the sage old wise woman. She looks like she'd reach out with her craggy, bony finger, and, you know, she looks like Cruella de Vil to me. I know, just saying. I absolutely love this deck. Had I seen this card first, I might not get the deck if I hadn't have actually gone through, because there's so many other cards. But this one just creeps me out, right? Okay. This, another card from the Dark Mansions. Nobody likes the 3 of Swords. If you like the 3 of Swords, then okay, good for you. But this particular card, even though, so if I look at the 3 of cards in Pam's picture, the swords are pointing down. In this picture, the swords are pointing up, like you can't get away. And this reminds me of an evil spell. Somebody took a lock of hair and has the soul in here. It's almost like a voodoo doll vibe, pincushion, even reversed. And look at the swords now going down, like in the Pam's artwork, right? There's no rain, there's no dripping or anything, but this poor person, even reversed, can't get out of this scenario. Maybe the locket will fall off those swords with gravity, but this card is sad. And it's even with, the 3 of Swords is a bad card anyway, but sometimes you can make light of it that you're just really glad to cut your losses and get away from a bad situation. But this is almost like impaling your soul. Okay, don't like this card. And it's my favorite deck. Well, one of my favorites. Okay, Tarot of the Illuminati. This is the devil. This card it reminds me of Jabba the Hutt. And here is Carrie Fisher when she, had been, the Princess Leia had been taken after, who was it? Harrison Ford, Han Solo had been, put in that freezer thingy, whatever it was. I'm not I can't remember all the things in Star Wars so long ago. But it just has bondage and S&M and torture and serial killer vibes all over. But that's the imagery. It's just a crazy card. I don't know why it's not focusing on there, but you have to see his face. Anyway, it's just and he's got a very Yul Brynner in the King and I kind of a face. I don't know. It's like his face doesn't match. And then it's just Jabba the Hutt, who I didn't like anyway. And again, by no means my last card, but I just grabbed a couple of decks that I've been using and whatnot. This is my pinup. And I talked about this, I can't remember what day now, of more decks that I'd like to work with. This was purchased for, specifically to do love readings or to do a bachelorette, I have a friend who has a business like a Tupperware, except for adult toys, and to do readings there if people wanted to get in the mood. It's a fun deck. I have the Pinup Girl Tarot, I have the Pinup Girl Oracle in it. It's for Valentine's Day, but I just don't like this card. So this is 1950s. The only thing that she needs to have is a cigarette hanging out of her mouth. That's all I can say, because this just reminds me of what happens to you. And I know it's judgment, and it should be, but she's up on the table in her youth and beauty. And then she's got that horrible skeleton, I don't know. This one just creeped me out, It's just not a pinup girl vibe with that, crazy thing. But okay. Anyway, those are some of the cards that have creeped me out over the course of playing with my decks and whatnot. And it hasn't ruined me on the decks. When they come up, I look at them and I, think about them in context and try to get a vibe from them as I'm doing a reading, contemplating on. I try not to let the feeling I have bother me on them, but I can say that they're definitely the crazy cards definitely the crazy cards. All right, thank you, and join me on day 21. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to leave a comment. I will get back. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. And if you're following the Ethony's 31-day challenge, it is hashtag 31 days of tarot, all one word with the 3-1 numbers. And we will see you tomorrow. Bye.